Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a little story time type of thing. Kind of share my story from a non-fitness side of my life. I want to make this channel as much of a healthy lifestyle type of vibe as it is a fitness vibe. And because of the time of year right now, some things came up in like my memories on like social media that kind of reminded me of where I was about a year ago and how completely different my life is right now than I thought it would be. So I really wanted to like sit down and kind of share with you guys that story, that side of my life, because I think it's very important. I don't think that like it's very important for you guys to know like that about me. I think the things that I learned and some of the choices that I made, I feel are important to share because especially with the times right now, a lot of people are kind of going through it, and I think it's important for people to know that there are other options and there are other ways to live your life. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you find it helpful, inspiring, whatever you need right now. I hope this helps you in some way. Please make sure to like and subscribe as always if you enjoy this video, and let's get started. To kind of start out, it occurred to me that about a year ago, almost a year to the day that you guys are seeing this video, I was accepted into the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and that was my dream school. And I had spent months worrying about not getting in. I was at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire for my freshman year and then the first semester of my sophomore year. And I had realized that it was not the place for me second semester of my freshman year, but it was too late for me to apply to UW for the fall. So I had to spend another semester at Eau Claire, and it was a very low time for me in my life. I was very lonely. My best friend had moved away, and Ethan went to a different school, and I was just very alone and very, I don't know, kind of sad. Just really wanted to get out of there. And so I spent most of my time worrying about getting into UW. I had applied, and I had been waiting and waiting and waiting. I didn't know what I was going to do because I hadn't signed up for classes in the spring at Eau Claire, because I knew that no matter what happened, I wasn't going to stay there. So whether I got into Madison or not, I was not staying in Eau Claire, so I was very worried about my path and where I was going to be that second semester. But a year ago, we went up to Alaska for Thanksgiving week, and it was actually the night that we landed and got to my dad's apartment that I got the email that I was accepted. And it was probably one of the biggest reliefs I've ever felt in my life. I had wanted to go to UW from the start. I made some choices based on money and people that made me end up going to Eau Claire, and it's probably something that I shouldn't have done, but you can't go back and change it. but I had known from the start that I wanted to go to Madison. It was my dream school, and getting in was such a relief to me. And at that moment in time, if you would have told me that I would not be living in Madison, that I would not be going to school, and that I would not be going back to Madison for school, a year later, I would have not believed you. I would have told you were crazy, because that's where I thought I was meant to be. That's where I thought was going to be my place, and it probably could have been. But so yeah, because of that, I just wanted to share with you guys my college story. Because you have no idea how much can change in a year. I went to Madison. I finished up my time at Eau Claire, and I got out of there. I spent Christmas break at home. In January, I moved into my apartment in Madison with 4 random roommates, but it ended up working out. We all got along super well, and I was so excited to be there. Looking back, I now realize it. I guess I didn't realize it then, but I was trying so hard, almost too hard, to make Madison my place, to make it the place for me, that it just wasn't clicking. And granted, I was only there for about 2.5 months, but you know, I hadn't really made those connections with any people. We started classes end of January, and I got along with my roommates super well. We all became friends, but we were all very different. One of them was a senior, one of them had already graduated college, 2 of them were a year older than me, so I was the youngest. But I just hadn't found my group, which is understandable. I was only there for, a short period of time. I was just figuring it out. But then COVID happened. So we got sent home March 13th, as pretty much everybody else did. And we were told we would not be coming back for 2 weeks. So I went home, and then obviously everything spiraled, and I was stuck at home, and I ended up deciding I was going to move out of my apartment at the beginning of May to save money, because I knew I wasn't going to be going back there in the summer, and I was going to be at home. So I moved out of my apartment May 1st. Ethan and I just went down there on a Friday night, packed everything up, and left Saturday morning. It was very bittersweet for me. I loved that apartment so much, and I barely got any time there. But at that point, I thought I was going to be going back. But I know I would not be going back. But obviously, everything got super crazy and all that stuff. But it was beginning of summer. Try to think of the timeline. Basically, I thought I was going back to Madison. I had signed a lease with 2 girls that I met through a Facebook group page, and I was planning on moving back there in August. However, as things kind of stayed the same and COVID was not going away, the university announced that we would be all online for the fall. And that's when I kind of had to have that difficult conversation with my family about, is it smart for me to move to Madison? That was when riots were happening, and it was kind of dangerous down there. And I was not going to have any classes in person. I was signed up for classes. I decided that I would stay home for the fall and do my classes from home. And I was sad, but I was still going to UW, and that was that. So I started looking for a sublease, and it started becoming more and more clear to me that the vision that I had of myself in Madison, the idea that had always been with me of how it was going to be, would never be. And that's something that you just can't control. Nobody had any idea that COVID was going to happen. That's something that I could never have planned for. So that became more of a reality to me. I started to realize that, is it going to be worth it? Is it worth it for me to pay all of this money to go to this university when I'm not even going to be on campus? Is it worth it for me to only really get to spend a year experiencing the things that I wanted to experience, going to football games and volleyball games and basketball games, those were all canceled this year, and I had to make that tough decision of, is it worth it? Is the idea in my head of me being a Badger really worth all of this, money and time? And that's when we had to make the even more difficult decision that I would not be going back at all. I found a sublease for the year, and after that happened, I had decided that taking the semester off is what was going to be best for me. And then shortly after that was the decision that I would not be going back to Madison. I had always been very aware throughout all of my college experience that colleges are there to take your money. And I talked about this briefly in my life update where I told you guys that I was not going to be going back to school this semester. But I just want you guys to know that you don't need to go to a big university to get a good degree. You don't need to go because that's what society tells you to do. Yes, it's about the experiences, but right now there's just not that many experiences to have. We can't go out and do the things that we used to be able to do. So that's why I decided that I would take the semester off and then go back to school fully online through Starbucks, because it's going to save me so much money. And in the long run, I'm still getting a great education. And now I'm in a place where my people are. And that's what I never realized is I kept trying to make different cities my place. I kept trying to find my people, when in reality, I already had my people and I just needed to go to the place that they were. And then that would be my place. And that's where I am now. My best friends are here. Ethan is here. I have an amazing group of people in my life, and I have never ever been happier than I am now. And a year ago when I was bawling to my parents after I got accepted into Madison, I would have never believed that this is where I would be a year later. I would have thought I would be at Camp Randall with all my friends and enjoying the fall on campus, but we just simply cannot plan for everything in life. It's just, that's what I've learned this year is you never know what's gonna come your way. You never know what life is going to throw at you, and you just have to go with it. I'm very, very much a planner. I do not like to go with the flow, so making the decisions that I made this past year was extremely, extremely difficult for me, but that just goes to show that just because something is hard, and just because you're giving up something that you don't want to give up doesn't mean something better isn't coming. And that is exactly what happened. I ended up in this beautiful apartment on my own. I never thought that I would thrive living alone. When I was in Eau Claire that last semester I was there, I did have a roommate. She was never there. It was basically like I lived alone. I was so lonely and sad. But I am so happy now. I love living alone because I have my people here, and when I'm lonely, I can go and see them. They're 5 minutes away instead of 2.5 hours. And it's just, I just want you guys to know that no matter what is going on in your life right now, if you have that gut feeling that something needs to change, that there's something different for you to pursue in your life, really think about it. Really write down the pros and cons, because that's what I did when I was deciding if I was going to go to Madison. I wrote down the pros and cons. I wrote down the reasons I should stay at Madison, and there just weren't any that went over the reasons that I shouldn't. You know, the reasons I wanted to stay in Madison was the idea that I had in my head since I was a senior in high school applying for UW. But life changes, and you can't always plan for everything because it's going to change and things are going to get thrown your way. But I promise you that every decision comes with an outcome, and maybe that hard decision that you're thinking about making right now is going to bring something so much better into your life. And I would have never thought that. I was very, very, very sad when I decided that I wouldn't be going back to Madison, but I knew that I was going to be in a place where my people were, and that was going to help me make it my place, my city, my home. And that's what I've done in the 2.5 months that I've been here. I have never been happier. So that might have been a little bit sappy. But I want to be real with you guys, especially with the crazy, crazy year that we've had. So much is changing, and if you are feeling like you need to take a different path in life, you can do it. You don't need to follow the standards that society places for us. You don't need to go to a university. You don't need to go to college if you don't want to. If there is a different path out there for you that you want to take it. Stop listening to what everybody is telling you to do. Stop trying so hard to make a place your place if it's just not working. Figure it out, move somewhere different, find what makes you happy, because in the end, that is all that matters. And that is really one of the main things that I focus on when trying to live a healthy lifestyle is I need to make sure that I'm okay first. I need to make sure that I'm happy before I preach about my workouts or my food. I feel that mental health is as important as physical health when it comes to living a healthy lifestyle, and I didn't realize it then, but I really, even when I was in Madison, I just wasn't that happy. And it's hard to admit to yourself when you're trying so hard to make something that you thought was right work, that you are happy there, but I just wasn't. And now I am. And that's that, you know, you just keep trying, keep going. You know, we're young, we have so much time for that trial and error, but just go where your heart is going to be happy. And no matter what that is going to bring decision-wise, you're gonna get through it. You're gonna be able to do it. It was so tough for me, and it still is. You know, looking back at that year ago, getting accepted. That was just a day that I waited so long for. And it's so different now, but I am happy and I'm healthy, and that is what I can be grateful for today. So just remember to always, 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 always make sure that you are happy and make sure that you are living the life that you want to live, not the life that somebody else wants you to live. So just do it for you. Do it for you always. I know maybe that sounds selfish, but it's not. It's not selfish. Do it for you. Put yourself first once in a while, okay? So with that, I really hope that you guys got something out of this video. I kind of opened up to you guys here, so I hope you take something away from this. I hope this helped you. Maybe if you're stuck right now, maybe if you're trying to figure it out. I hope this just kind of showed you that you can go wherever you want in your life. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you guys for being here, for being at all my videos. I really, really, really appreciate it. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next week.